The Australian law enforcement system is pretty simple. It's a very centralised force where there's the Australian Federal Police and Federal Bureau who investigate international crime, smuggling and grand crimes like threatening to blow up the government. Beyond this, there are the state police forces for all 6 states. Northern Territory and the ACT are administered by the AFP, the Border Force and the Australian Criminal Intelligence Commission, though the Northern Territory sort of has a bit of a splinter organisation itself. Unlike the USA, these are funded by the respective governments, state or federal, and are accountable to that government, can administer the law anywhere within their jurisdiction of who they are accountable to, and are funded by the people within said location. There is a commissioner of each of these departments, with several assistant commissioners who head specific operations. For example, in the South Australian Police, SAPOL, there is the Commissioner Grant Stevens, with assistance in crime, metro police, regional police, support, operations, governance, and even IT. The main thing though is how centralised this structure is. There's a single chief of police for the entire state, every prescribed law officer eventually reporting back to this man. This goes on for every state force, the AFP and the other forces. The US defies this from being in a deep-rooted skepticism of a centralised police force. The theory goes that if there was a national police, it would concentrate way too much power in such a small group of people for such a region, and could lead to corruption, power play, or an abuse of power. The federal government gives the power to arrest to each state. Each state then distributes area jurisdictions to countries and municipalities. Wherever there is a local distinct government, there is probably a distinct local police force. Municipal police operate within city limits, metro police where there is a mayor and a city government. They only have power in this specific area unless in a continuous pursuit of someone, so if you escape the city, they can still arrest you. A county, usually territory outside an incorporated metro area, is run by a sheriff, who's less like a hired policeman and more like an elected official, like a mayor. There is usually one sheriff per county, and the officers in a department like this are always deputies, acting on behalf of this sheriff. They usually run jails, which are not prisons, but rather hold inmates awaiting trial or for short-term stays. States do have small police forces despite being covered by counties and local jurisdiction police forces. These are often called troopers and primarily patrol highways and can assist towns with 3-digit populations if they do not have their own police force, or their police lack significant resources for a particularly problematic situation. A lot of US states even have their own equivalent, FBIs, so to speak, that can handle major crimes, usually though under the jurisdiction of the real FBI, but within a single state. The feds are there for crimes that can't be singled in on one state, or particularly high bar crimes such as smuggling, international crime, border crime, fugitive recovery, court security, customs, airport crime, transit crime, and enforcing laws on land like national parks. In a class of their own are correctional officers who run prisons, not jails, that hold long-term inmates to serve sentences. If anything, they have the least to worry about with cross-jurisdiction conflicts, because each of these branches are accountable and paid for by the government at the level they oversee, and so they regularly fight for grants and cash flow. A high-profile case might be underway by a local detective when the FBI appears out of nowhere to take over. Glory crimes are usually fought over, and sometimes sabotage within the very law enforcement or corruption can occur to seize the highest prize and the most credit for the highest profile case. It can also work the other way around. Crimes that aren't worth the time can be deferred to lower jurisdictions, effectively making it someone else's problem when the effort is not worth what it would do for the department's image. All of this goes to say though, it is a very effective system for making it impossible for a single police force to ever emerge. There being, as of last counted, approximately 18,000 unique and distinct law enforcement agencies across all of the US territory, each having their own leadership, their own funding, and their own training practices, their own codes, their own success, and their own story. So it's less about what is better, centralised or not, and more about realising that the world's a bit of a weird place with humans in it. We aren't robots, we're unpredictable, and so maybe it's alright to have a few kinks in the system, because it was inevitable from the outset. And that's okay.